Welcome to the Startup Grind.
So I met Yoel about a month ago. You know, we have our pre-talks, so we try to figure out what to speak about in the interview. And we spoke, I think we spoke for about an hour and 50 minutes, and about an hour of that, I was just speaking about his family. So we started just by, you know, we always start by personal questions, and we're going to start by personal questions here also. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Jerusalem, actually seventh generation Jerusalemite. I moved to Tel Aviv 12 years ago, and although I feel more Jerusalemite than a guy who lives in Tel Aviv. My mother was 40 years the head of the Jerusalem Foundation, raising every year $30 million for the benefit of Jerusalem. So that there are a few reasons for me to feel
at home in Jerusalem.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I grew in the kibbutz. Yeah. My mother, she's singing in the Givaton though. So, yeah, she does.
My wife would love you.
They have a new disc. If anyone wants the Givatron disc, the great disc of Shirei Shabbat. Okay, enough about mothers. What did your father do?
My father was a lawyer, and then he became a judge. He was a vice president of the Supreme Court in Israel. Mm-hmm. I think there is a very interesting distinction between my father and my mother, where I can consider my father as a thinker. He's a very intelligent, very smart, very sharp. And my mother is a doer, and actually is also very intelligent, very smart.
I thought you were going to say, and she's just beautiful.
So I think for many years I asked myself the question whether I was more of a thinker or more of a doer. This kind of question I dwelt with the opportunities, and I think I came today to a point where I can say that I found a very interesting combination between the thinking and the doing with what I do in To Be Angels, and To Be Community, because there's intellectual challenges, of course, but also challenges regarding doing and executing, something like that.
Before we go to be, yeah. So you told me like this family, you had people like Teddy Kollak, like almost every weekend coming to you, and people from the Rothschild family visiting you. And how did a lot of people from abroad, like very known Jewish people, how did this affect you or your family?
Well, I think actually I never got a salary from the Jerusalem Foundation, but every Saturday we had to host a different kind of very interesting people. And then you see them in a close manner, and then you understand they're just people. You know, they're very successful, very smart, very intelligent, but they're just people.
And they're laughing from the same jokes.
The same old jokes. My father used to give the same old jokes every week, the same ones. And there was one week he told a joke, and all the people that laughed at the table. And then I said to my mother, well, every week we have to hear the same jokes. And everybody heard me, so it was a little bit embarrassing. But I think you don't need to sit with the Rothschild family or whoever I sat with in order to have a belief in yourself. I mean, there are some people who never met anybody who believe in themselves, and some people who grew up in very prestige families and don't believe in themselves. So this is not really, I think, the key point to this challenge. I can give you this example from another perspective. Okay. As a child, I used to do different kind of things. I went to the Scouts, I played water polo, and one of these days came to visit us a man who was considered to be the best water polo player in the world. And then he got into the pool and he swam a little bit and demonstrated all different kinds of things he could do with the ball. And then he came to us and we asked all sorts of different questions. I don't remember all the questions and all the answers except for one. And there was this kid who asked this Hungarian strong guy, tell me, how is it that you are such a good water polo player? What is it that you need to do in order to become such a good player? And the Hungarian strong guy said, he had a very authentic and very even naive answer. And he said, well, you know, there's some kids who want to be better than their friends, better than their friend in the team. There are some kids who want to be the best in their group. And there are some kids who want to be the best in their team, or rare occasions, they want to be the best in town. From first day, I always knew I wanted to be the best in the world. And he told this story in a way that you could really identify with the idea, okay? So, if I can summarize my childhood regarding this issue, which has to do with entrepreneurship, and this platform is a platform for entrepreneurs, I think I did have the feeling of possibility to conquer the world.
That's a great sentence. If anyone want to shoot something to Twitter, I think it will be a good one. So you grew up in Jerusalem, and just a regular childhood, like a good one, a regular one, and then you went to the army. Anything specific about the army?
Actually, I finished my army in quite a distinguished unit. It's called Okets, soldiers with
You're from Okets? What?
You're from Okets as well? Yoel Cheshin is a friend from a true friend.
Yes.
He came to listen to me.
You left the dog outside?
Actually, Yoel is the friend of Tristan. And it's thanks to Yoel we're all here sitting now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anything else you want to tell? You want me to tell about you, Yoel? So it was quite a distinguished unit, but it wasn't so good in the army after all. As an alpha male, I passed all the tests, the physical tests I needed to pass in order to start military in the Israeli Green Berets, which is Sayeret Matkal. And I stayed there for a year, and after a year, they threw me out. So as an alpha male, I said to myself that it's impossible for me to think that I will go to a unit that is not as good as the Green Beret, Israeli Green Beret. So I went to all the tests of the Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And I passed all the tests as well. I was very strong. People really loved me. They liked me. And after a year, they threw me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very... And then I finished at the...
You really grew from failure.
I think it's something very serious, because I think the failure is the most important key in order to succeed as an entrepreneur or in life in general. I think from where I came from, with all the expectations from the neighborhood and environment, and the age I was, I mean, being an 18-year-old child is, you're a child, yeah. And to deal with this kind of failure, you need to be really, really strong. I found out afterwards that I got some kind of a gift in which I was able to ask myself what was within me that made me fail. So the question, why the commander threw me, or why they did such a mistake, is not a question that really interested me so much. And this question is not interesting, actually. If you want to evolve...
It was interesting then, right?
I think the gift was the understanding that if I wanted to evolve, it just doesn't matter what was the outside reason for them to throw you out of the military. It's not interesting because it cannot let you evolve. If you want to evolve, the only way to evolve is trying to ask yourself, what was within me that made them make this kind of decision? And you know, sometimes I meet people from the army, you know, a few months ago I met this guy from the Navy, Israeli Navy SEALs, and I asked him, well, what do you think about what happened back then? And he said, you know, thank you, this commander, I really hate him, he shouldn't have thrown me out, and what a mistake they did, blah, 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 blah. Well, this guy is not a good entrepreneur, and actually is an entrepreneur, is not a good one.
Oh,
because he could not, and he cannot ask himself the difficult questions of why he failed.
okay.
Okay, so these failures made me understand a very important thing, that as a child, if as a child I believed I could conquer the world, so I think my whole 20s, and even my whole 30s, the question was, what is it I need to do in order to conquer myself? Because if you want, and then I understood that if you want to conquer the world, you should go with trying to conquer yourself. And then afterwards I understood that the only interesting question is conquering yourself. And the more you conquer yourself, the feeling is stronger as if you conquer the world. And what is conquering the world? You know, it's some kind of childish or naive perspective. You know, but conquering yourself is something that...
So in this stage of life, then you decided, because of course you studied law after the army, right?
I started what?
Law, you studied law.
Yeah.
Okay, and you start working, right, as an attorney?
Not a day in my life.
Oh, no,
Not
in the
a day.
academy, sorry, in the academy.
Yeah.
But then you also studied philosophy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I mean, you look like a very rational guy. And, I mean, not that it's not rational, but you went to study philosophy and you started looking at thing a little bit different.
My first philosophy lesson, the lecturer said something, all those kids who wanted to show off how smart they were, asked all different kinds of questions. I think it was logic. And then the lecturer stopped all the questions and said, dear students, you need to understand from today that in philosophy, you just don't philosophize. This is a place where you don't philosophize. And when people ask me, why did you go and study philosophy? There's nothing practical in philosophy. I say to them, well, to be community, it's first building blocks you can find in me studying philosophy. So I think philosophy in many ways is a very practical profession.
Just a little bit back your career, so 2002, 2008, around these years, you work in the academy, and you wanted to go and you wanted to do
My
PhD for
yeah, my PhD. I truly believed I would become a professor and teach in the university, philosophy and law, whatever. But I did have this virus of entrepreneurship, of investing, so I did all different kinds of investments, a little bit real estate, a little bit medical device on the side. And one of these days I met the guy who's the CEO of To Be Angels, L.L.B. And L.L.B. recognized my entrepreneurial virus in the eyes, and he said, listen, I have an idea, an offer for you. Why don't you keep your study in philosophy and law, you do your PhD, whatever, and I will do the investment for you. I will represent you in the high-tech scene, and let's do it. And then I said to myself, okay, Arla, let me think about it for a while, and I came to him after a few days and said, Arla, I think it's a good idea, let's go for it on one condition. I'm sorry, Arla, this is how many times I told this story?
The same times your father told the
Yeah,
jokes.
probably. And the deal was, Arle, it's fine, but I pay you but don't call me. If you call me, I don't pay you the salary. I don't pay you salary. The more you call me, the less I pay your salary, because I want to do my PhD. in the university. So he said that sounds good enough, and he started investing in different kinds of startup companies.
The best boss you have.
This is what?
The best boss you can have?
Yeah, at least in the beginning it was like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thinks today, but... so after 3 months, he telephoned me, and I said, Ale, what's going on? And he decided that you don't call me at all. Well, he said, I do need to inform you about things that happened. We've invested in 12 companies already. 12 companies? What are you talking about? 12 companies? Why didn't you call me up until now? So, of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the truth is a little bit different, but it was something like this, and then I understood that in order to succeed, you have to put your mind into something, and then I quit everything and started concentrating on the investments and to be angels and do what needs to be done in order to let the company evolve.
Okay, before you proceed, I have a question for the crowd. Does anyone know what "to be" stands for? Okay, we're gonna get, anyone from Expo? What "to be" stands for? מה המשמעות של "to be"? No? Cheetah? Two brothers. Thank you. You can always trust a friend.
Well, the story of my brother is another perspective of me becoming a businessman. My brother passed away 5 years ago in a very tragic bicycle accident. Actually, in a month or 2 months, I will become his age. So I have 2 months to live. I need to
Work it out.
what?
Work hard and do all the things you're going to stick
Exactly. So after I spoke about the distinction, the division between my father and mother, where my father was more of a thinker and my mother was more of a doer. And I think what I felt and thought that this kind of distinction was between my brother and myself, where my brother was the doer and I was the thinker.
Right.
And
so Schnee was your big brother, your role model,
yeah.
a great guy. I didn't know him, I just read about him. Like everything he did, he was very successful in the army and afterwards, before the army,
the Navy SEALs.
The Navy SEAls and everything. And then the accident, I mean, he passed away like one day. He just, the car just, it was road number 5, right? And yeah, so this was an accident. Everybody read about that, and this actually changed your life, right? Like in a many perspectives. How did it affect you, building now to be angels, to be finance, to be communities, starting doing all the things very, very fast?
Well, I think since I really love my brother and still love him, he was my role model, and whatever he did, I went after him and did it as well. So we went to Scouts, and I went to Scouts as well, and he played water polo, and I played water polo as well, and he went to the Navy SEALs, I went to the Navy SEALs as well. And once he died in such a way, surprising, shocking way, the childish belief that this kind of thing would not happen to me just evaporates in a split of a second. You understand that every day of your life, it can happen to you. This could be our last day. Each and every one of us, it could be his last day. And this gives a totally different meaning to life. So since you really understand that actually you live with death, the upside of living with death is giving much more meaning to what you do every day, each and every day. So I think the good thing that happened to me is that I made my life very meaningful after his death. And it's true that from the last 5 years, I've established To Be Angels, To Be Community, and To Be Finance, which is also another vehicle that I'm involved with. And To Be Angels is actually his two brothers. So actually, before my brother died, I always wanted to do business with him. Yeah, and he never wanted to do business with me, actually. And after his death, you know, there is a very nice Hebrew song by the poet Rachel, who says, "Kol asher avad li kinyani la'ad." Whatever I lost is my possession for eternity. And you know, now I can do business with him every day, each and every day. And so it's not that because of his death there was a room for me to do business. This is not the story. The story is that once I understand that death is so close to me, I'd better do something interesting in my life. And then, because I understood that, okay, what I do in the high-tech scene is the most interesting thing that I can ask for myself. And I put everything and concentrate on.
Before we drill into the high-tech stuff,
Yeah.
To Be Angels, speak about a little bit about To Be communities, if you can.
First of all, the To Be Angels, it's a very nice cooperation between Vered Mosenzon, who did the process of creating the values of To Be Angels. And I remember she said, to be, and then I would say angels. So it came To Be Angels.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
Very catchy.
yeah, and To Be Community, and we have also the CEO of To Be Community, Shachar Botzer, which is sitting in the first row here. And To Be Community is our social startup. It's an investment social fund that invests in regular businesses and allocate the profits of the businesses to social causes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you told me that you use, I mean, your vision of To Be, your soul is for To Be community, and you use the To Be Angels, To Be Finance, is as a vision, and I hope I'm not wrong, as a vehicle to achieve your goals with To Be community.
Well, I think the best way to look at it, it's true that To Be Community is the vehicle to evolve regarding what we want to bring back to community. But I think the best way to look at it, and these are things that we all understand these days, this kind of evolution. So the story is not the story of To Be Angels, not the story of To Be Community, it's the story of To Be Group. Okay? And what we want to accomplish in the Israeli society, developing the high-tech industry, developing the impact investing industry. There are a lot of mountains that we want to conquer.
Can you a bit expand about your goals at To Be Angels?
Well, I think firstly, I know that L.L.B was here, and Guy Gamzer was here, and Dov Moran was here, and they're all angels, which I learned a lot from. There are many more years than I am in the industry, and there's some kind of distinction between those angels. Firstly, like I said before, I work with a group of people. I'm not alone. Gigi is a one-man show. Guy is a one-man show. I work with my partners. Like I said, Amal Cohen is the CEO of To Be Angels, and then came along Ronen Samocha, which is the CTO. And a few weeks ago, we welcomed Reli Shimko, which is the CFO of To Be Angels. So we're expanding, and in To Be Community, we have Shachar Botzer. So this is important distinction between me and the others, and I think our goal is to develop the industry. It's our mission, it's our vision, to prove to the world that there could be for-profit corporates that could do good to all the stakeholders around, not just the stockholders, but the society, the workers, give meaning to the people who work in To Be Angels and to people who encounter and meet us, you know.
Can you give us an example for maybe the first project you did with To Be Community?
Yeah, our first project is Schneer's Gardens in the Shanty House in the desert. The Shanty House is a place for children at risk, NGO for children at risk, and Arale let let me meet Mariuma Ben Yosef, which is the CEO of the Shanty House in the desert. And one day I came with she wasn't my wife back then. I came with Dana, my girlfriend, to sleep overnight at the Shanty House, and Mariuma came to me and said, I'm very much, I have a problem with this old school philanthropy thing, where I need to go to people and ask for money in order to sustain what we do in the Shanty House. And my dream is to build sustainable businesses in the Shanty House in the desert, to generate sustainable capital for the benefit of the children of the Shanty House. And
not just donation, something with profits, like real...
Exactly, sustainable.
Sustainable profits.
Something with sustainability, and something that doesn't force you to open your heart and ask for those who can afford it for money.
Yeah, okay.
Based on goodwill. Based on goodwill, you know, trying to build the social sector, basing it only on goodwill is a very big problem. So we don't need to cure, we need to clean all the problems, all the reasons that made the illness in the first place. Mm-hmm. So what we need to do is to build sustainable businesses and allocate the profits to social causes. So our pilot was, we built Schneer's Gardens, which is a beautiful amphitheater in the Shanty House. This is the place I married with my wife Dana, and it was not long after the death of my brother, and I said to myself, there's no possible way that I will have this kind of celebration without my brother. So we built this Schneer's Gardens, so it was some kind of a creative way to celebrate with my brother, and in a wedding that is dedicated to giving, which is something extraordinary, you know, the feeling is just unbelievable.
So you actually invested a lot of efforts and money in this garden, or in this garden, and you left it there for them to use.
Exactly, exactly. This is an amphitheater that is supposed to organize, is organizing all different kinds of, you know, bar mitzvahs, weddings, things for corporations to go for a day with all the employees, and opportunities like that in order to generate capital for the benefit of the children in the Shanty House. So this is our pilot,
right?
Actually. But you need to understand the bigger vision. Okay, I used to teach corporate law, and the old saying that corporations rule the world is a true one, meaning the structure of the corporate is a strong one as far as making capital is concerned. Corporations, whether they ruin the world or make the world evolve, they're very strong in generating capital. Okay? So, one possible way is going back to a communist country, or bringing back the kibbutz, where you lived, where you know your mother left you in the children's house and all the complexities you have today because of that, etc. So this is some kind of a problem, going back. You can never go backwards. So to be community is some kind of... To be community is based on this premise that once we are able to build sustainable and strong for-profit corporations, okay, allocate the corporation for social causes, we might have the opportunity to change our culture. And Schneer's Gardens is
a pilot for...
Exactly,
okay.
But you can think bigger. For instance, the CEO of Waze was here at Startup Grind in January or something. And so let us imagine, we're all entrepreneurs in our blood, yeah? Imagine of Get Taxi Social.
Oh, okay? Get Taxi, yeah.
Exactly the same as Get Taxi, with one slight difference, in which all or most of the profits of Get Taxi Social will be allocated to Or Yarok, to Green Life, the NGO that promotes the culture of driving in Israel. You know, so every time you go and Get Taxi Social...
We can speak with Shachar about that. We can try.
Yeah, we'll ask for it.
We'll ask him.
It's going to take for a while, maybe we can do something together, 10 years from now. So.
I want to proceed a little bit, because I guess there are a lot of questions here about 2B Angels and about the portfolio of 2B Angels. So if you could just tell us a bit about to be angels. What are you looking for? What kind of portfolio startups you're looking for? You're investing in? What kind of technology? Just open the eyes for the people in the crowd.
We have a few vehicles that we invest through. We have straight angel investments, something like 20 investments, straight angel investments, investing in pre-seed, up until round A, different stages of companies. And we also invest through an incubator that we hold 50% of the iExplore incubator, and the other 50% is being held by Plus Ventures and Yossi Moldavsky, which is a partner and a friend. And this is our second vehicle.
This is one in the north, right? In Yokneam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of startups you have?
We invest in software as a service, in cybersecurity, IT, internet. We do not invest in clean tech, we do not invest in biotech, we do not invest in medical device. We're trying to be focused on what we can bring true and real value to our startups.
Okay. You said you're investing in cyber social.
And also we invest in Takwin. Takwin is it's a very interesting with Imad Talhami, which is one of the most amazing entrepreneurs in Israel. Takwin is an incubator for the Arab world. Okay, meaning you either invest in startups that are going to be to the Arab countries. This is one possibility, or in an Arab incubator, meaning the entrepreneurs themselves are Arabs. And this is something that we're also very proud of, because my belief is that once you have like 20, 30 big 1 billion companies, startups that are based in Arab countries, this could be much more helpful for bringing peace and understanding the cultures much better than all different kinds of talks, whether talks in Madrid or Oslo or whatever.
We have in Ramallah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can arrange a meeting with Neda next week. Fadi, are you here? Where's Fadi? So Fadi is here. Fadi is actually managing the acceleration incubator, I can say, in Natzaret. Yeah, Natzaret. How many startups do you have over there?
I have already now 70.
How many?
70 startups since 2012. Now I'm working with 10 startups at the Natzaret Accelerator, and we have another 10 in the incubator.
And I'm going to give you another second to say something about your next event in the Ambassador House. Why not? A friend.
Well, we are doing a big event next month at the 27th at the Ambassador House of the USA. We are launching another 12 startups.
Okay, if anyone wants any more details from us, from Fadi is over there. Okay, good luck, Fadi.
I would love that. Your logo also for the...
To be angels.
Aren't we in the most interesting sector in the world? I mean, isn't what we do the most interesting thing that we could do? It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I think you should speak later. There are a lot of guys from To Be Angel. Why not? You're gonna have Matrix there. I'm gonna bring Matrix there. Few more questions. So when you have people coming to be angels, probably approaching you, they approach Ronen, maybe your other partners, and how do you decide if it's an entrepreneur you would like to invest in? What are the key elements you're looking for in an entrepreneur?
Well, I knew you'd ask me this kind of question, so I thought of giving a good answer, and I found an interesting abbreviation, which is AD-PPW. Okay? AD, add like AdTech, PPW. So A stands for authenticity, D stands for dignity, and P stands for persistence, P for passionate, and W for wisdom. Authenticity, let's start with authenticity, just come be yourself. Don't try to act as if you're someone else, as if you're something that you're not. Just come with who you really are. Because if you're trying to be someone else that you're not, you are it will be revealed sometime, and this is a deal breaker. You know, just the best thing to do is just be yourself. D, dignity. So dignity, it stands for different kinds of things. Don't be greedy regarding the evaluation. It's not that important. The most important thing is for you to succeed, and don't just try to fight over fractions of a percentage in the startup company. Dignity means that you will do whatever you can do within your power to bring back the money to the investor. This is also some kind of dignity. And dignity is once, if it happens to be that the startup collapses, you stay there in the startup and clean whatever needs to be cleaned after everything collapses. So this is the dignity we're looking for. So authenticity, dignity, passionate. Love your startup. Just love your startup. Love what you do. Be optimistic about what you do. Believe in what you do. Energize the people who work with you. Excite them. Give them a good reason to wake up in the morning and believe that what they do is the best thing that this is what they dream to do all their lives. Okay, so this is passionate. Persistence, you know, this is also something very, very important, not to give up, not to give in. Try again and again. You fall and then you have to stand up again, and after you fall again. Running a startup is a roller coaster. And you need to be really, really strong in order to deal with failures. And actually, it's the most, we talked about failures before. Yeah? The most important thing in order to succeed in startup is to know how to deal with failures. Actually, the movie Rocky VI, there was some kind of motivational speech from Rocky to his son. And he said, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep on moving forward. And another inspirational from another guy, Winston Churchill, and he said, success is the ability to move from one failure to another without losing inspiration. Yeah.
And you had another D, no? Was it a P, D, D something?
Yeah. W. Wisdom.
Wow.
Wisdom. Yeah. Okay, why wisdom? I think...
Why not? It's just good to be wise.
So the wisdom has to do with the persistence, because there is another saying, who goes something like, God grant me with the ability to change the things I can, to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So sometimes it's true that you need to be, not to give up and not to give in, but sometimes you need to give up in order to move forward. And the understanding whether you need to keep on moving forward or just taking another direction is some kind of wisdom that is very, very important for success.
That was important for us also. Liron, are you taking the notes? Yeah, that's a good one. And you told me, you just said about what's most interesting for you in an entrepreneur. You didn't mention the technology.
I did mention
the technology. You didn't mention about the product itself. Mm-hmm. How important when you balance between the entrepreneur, the team, and the technology, the product?
Well, they're all very important, of course. I mean, the ability of the entrepreneur to be funded, to go to investors and persuade them to invest in him is a very important, is a key for success, of course. And we try to invest in rich and interesting technology with a lot of innovation. This is also something which is very important to us. And we prefer invest when we have along with us other good investors, because once the startup needs more capital, it's not fun at all to be alone over there. You want other good investors who have the same beliefs regarding how to move forward startups, you know. This is also very important, but the key, the most important thing, and this is also almost like a cliche, everybody says that, and this is also the characteristics of the entrepreneurs. Okay, so firstly, you want to, since we really we give our blood and our heart to startups that we work with, so it would better be people that we have fun You know, that we wake up in the morning and say, oh, this is a guy, this is the kind of guy I want to help.
Yeah.
And when I help him, I feel as if I'm helping the right guy. This gives you some kind of
So you invested in Safari.
I invested in
fund.
Safari.
Is he here? He's still here.
So I think what you're trying to say is that we invested in a Safari because he's a celebrity and not a good entrepreneur. That's what
I
you
said
mean.
he's fun, I guess. I mean,
Well, Ale said me, you know, a Safari came to me with a startup, and I said, oh my God, what's going on? And he said, well, you know, actually I think it's a good startup.
Okay.
And when you talk about entrepreneurs with the right characteristics, I think Asafarel is a good example. And I said to myself, okay, and it's going to speak like for half an hour and an hour with an Israeli celebrity, and I happened to find one of the best entrepreneurs I've ever met. Very modest, very serious about what he does, not afraid to ask the questions, not afraid to put all the problems on the table and try to share them with investors and figure out a way to move forward. Very nice, very nice.
yeah, good luck. And we spoke about, you told me something very, very interesting in our, when we met. And this is something I didn't hear before in any of the event we had. And we met like 12 people before. And this is that you kind of develop this ability to recognize if the entrepreneur and if the solution, the product is not good enough, and you just tell it to them like in their face, right? You give them all the reasons why they should not move forward.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Actually, I want to evolve in this. I'm not good enough at this. In persuading entrepreneurs just to leave everything and move forward to something else. No, just to try and kill their dream in a way. Because I think, and this is some kind of a habit that I really like to do sometimes, you know? So someone comes, because all the Israelis are either prime ministers or entrepreneurs. Other prime ministers or entrepreneurs, so it happens to me that like 3 times a day someone comes up to me with, listen, you must listen to the next thing, you must listen, give me 2 minutes, please. And the truth is that it's much more difficult than what people tend to believe in the beginning, okay? Statistically meaning, it's not 1 to 10, it's much less than that at these stages. And it's a very long journey, very difficult journey, very complicated journey. It's a roller coaster, and you need to be you need specific characteristics in order to succeed.
But how do you do that? So I come to you, I approach to you, someone here from the crowd come to you, pitch you for 2 minutes, and then what?
I have
like
a recording in my pocket.
Yeah, you have like 3 questions you always ask, and after the 3 questions you say, look, you are not this, you're not that, or this is not this and that. I mean, I think my advice to you is to move forward, because I know some people do not do that. It just tells you, look, maybe you should sharpen your speech, maybe you should go to someone else that is more interesting in what you're speaking about. It's not the kind of stuff I'm interested in.
Well, I think I talked about authenticity, right? So
Yeah.
if I believe that he will not succeed, I need to tell him the truth right in his face. And 2 possibilities, 2 options. First option is that I will persuade him, when mostly I don't succeed. It's very difficult to kill dreams, which is good actually. So one option is that I succeed, and it might be that I save this guy months or even years of labor for nothing. And the other option that he doesn't listen to me and keep on moving forward. Okay, so this means that that his wish, his dream, his belief is stronger than him. So I'm putting this obstacle and trying to see whether this is an obstacle that he sees as a problematic one, and then, okay, give up or continue moving forward.
Before my next question, prepare some questions. I'm going to approach to you in a minute. So if anyone has a question, just be ready. So is it true that, I mean, you're angels, you VC, do you share knowledge about people approaching to you, about entrepreneurs with other VCs? Like, in the backstage?
Why not?
No, I'm just saying.
What do you mean
does
idea
it,
with other VCs?
like someone came to you and he came with this idea, you know, and you think it's not a good idea, and you meet with friends, colleague. Would you share your thought
If I
about?
would tell him the truth?
No. You would share with them about this entrepreneur, you know, and maybe you will tell them, look, I mean, he was with me, he spoke to me. I don't think you have any. I mean, the solution is not good enough and stuff. And he actually, because there is a feeling here that if you go to 1, 2, 3 VCs and you're burned down in the market, you can be burned down because everybody likes speaking with everybody. Does it really happen?
That you're burned after you go to 3 VCs?
Yeah.
I don't know about all these myths and mythologies. I just read that Airbnb could not raise a dime for quite a long time in the valley. So I don't know about.
In Israel. I mean, we speak with everybody. It's not the valley.
If you're a strong entrepreneur, nothing will burn you. But as far as sharing knowledge with other VCs or colleagues, of course,
Yeah.
we're all in the same industry, sharing the same ambition, the same vision to develop the industry. So of course we need to work together, to share ideas.
Okay, anyone have a question? Yes, your name please.
My name is Omer.
Omer.
I was very intrigued about the TV community, and if you might, my question is 2 parts. First part is, other than the shanty house, do you have any other examples of?
These days, Shachar and I are building our next businesses, and we're not going to expose today what we're going to do in the next couple of months. We're going to share this knowledge in a few weeks or months from now, but I can tell you a little scoop. The first time we're telling this, has anybody heard of the Tav HaChevrati? Tav HaChevrati, a Jerusalem NGO? Okay, so a Tav HaChevrati, or the social label, I guess, free translation, is an NGO who gives some kind of social label to businesses and restaurants. They start with restaurants that are aligned with different kinds of social values, such as good conditions for employees, and such as accessibility for people with disabilities, and things like that. And this is a very strong platform for us to educate civils, and thanks to Shachar, who came with this brilliant idea to incorporate what the social label does, because this is a very important platform for us to educate civil society and ourselves with the importance of us being consumers. A very important building block of the social entrepreneurship is the revelation. It's almost like a revelation that the civil society with the hats as consumers can lead a change by preferring businesses that are aligned with social values, or transfer the capital for social causes. Because it's within our power to shape and change our culture through consuming. And this is some kind of evolution to the shared economy like Airbnb, like Uber. So this is some kind of another evolution. So when we consume, and I believe, this is my belief, this is the premise of the social startup, is that it's going to take a while, but we're more and more going to understand our power in consuming. So take, for instance, the social label I was talking about, regarding giving the social label only to restaurants who have who let people with disabilities access good accessibility. So if we decide that we prefer to go to restaurants where have this kind of accessibility, or to restaurants that take care of their employees, and there will be some kind of shift to these kinds of businesses and restaurants, slowly, all the other restaurants will change their habits as well and give accessibility to people with disabilities and give better conditions to their employees, etc., etc. So when we talk about brands today, the branding is in the giving. And we, as the civil society, will gather together as a bundle of consuming groups that want to lead changes in different kinds of things.
Thank you for the answer. Just my second part. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When you approached the shanty house, I don't know what the model is. Maybe I'm assuming, please correct me if I'm wrong. But when you went to the shanty house and you provided them with this gardens for events as a revenue engine for them,
Yeah.
why not simply give them, for example, the funds, the capital, and escort them and guiding them through the entire process, so they will be able to pick their own, to make their own choices of what the best revenue models for them would be?
What is your suggestion, that we will let them do the job and do the business?
In general, yes.
It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That NGOs, and this is one of the key points here. For instance,
Not just money for their own operation, but money along with the guidance and the escort and the service in order to make this.
well, this is also very important. You know, not giving them fish, only fish. This is also very important. But our vision is a little bit. This is also, like I said, it's like for instance, Liliot restaurant. Have you heard of Liliot? It's a very good restaurant that you should all go to. It's not that they allocate their profits to some kind of social cause, but the restaurant itself is a social cause for the Let Children at Risk worker from L.L.B. So, Lilith, yeah. Okay? But our story is a little bit different. We want to bring out to the world regular corporations like Get Taxi, like Waze, like Checkpoint, whatever. Regular businesses that allocate their profits to social causes. Because if we take seriously the saying that corporates rule the world, and they are the strongest entities in the world, what we need to do is to make a few of them, at least a few of them, with our community values and our community model, and then it might be that we will lead a very interesting change in Israeli society regarding solidarity and we're all one and things like that. So, does that answer your question?
No way.
Okay, thank you. More questions? Maybe about, yeah, Shai.
Would you consider to invest in a very innovative startup which is not related to any kind of digital content, like not related to software or hardware, but rather to consumer goods?
For instance, well, like what, for instance?
Like a bicycle rack.
A bicycle?
Rack.
Rack?
An attachment between the bicycle and the car.
Inside.
You spoke to me. You spoke to me, right? No? It's the exception. It might be that we will invest in such a thing, but what we're trying to do is to invest in things that we can bring value to. Okay, for instance, AdTech, this is something that we can bring value. Cybersecurity is something that we can bring value. The ecosystem, the connection, the understanding. So if the less we have understanding in this field, the fewer chances that we will invest in it. So it's like actually a law firm. Yeah, if you're a good lawyer, you cannot be a good lawyer at all in constitutional law or in contracts and everything. So we do believe in focus and professionalism.
One more question? Yeah.
Speaking about values and giving back to the community, what about investing in educational ventures?
What about?
Investing in educational ventures.
Well, we will always, of course, education is very important. We will always prefer to invest to be angels, to invest in startups that has some kind of social value, as long as it is aligned with our professional knowledge and capabilities. So if we have the same startups, one in education and the other in something else which is less valuable, if you can say such a thing, we will prefer to invest in the educational startup, but we will not invest in something that we do not understand. This is an important thing. Even if we truly believe that the ROI will be amazing, it doesn't matter. We try to focus on what we understand.
Let's take another one or two. I saw some hands here. Any more questions? Okay, it was the same question, right? Okay, I have two more.
Hi, my name is Yoel from Startup Grind. I was wondering because the corporate angle that you said that you want to basically help corporate give more to society. Do you only focus in Israel or you do stuff overseas as well?
We always invest, one of our principles is only to invest in startups, in global startups. Civil society of the globe, so to be community is hopefully going to spread in the whole world in 3-4 months, right, Safan?
Good luck.
So you're moving to New York, right? Just thinking. We always have these last two questions. What are the 3 things people do not know about Yoel?
If you asked me 6, and this is the last question?
One before the
Oh,
last.
one. If you asked me 6 years ago that what I would do in 6 years from now is what I do today, I would laugh at your face for like hours.
Right.
Yeah. And 3 things that people don't know. Are there 3 things that people know about me? I mean, it's not like I'm Julia Roberts, you know, 3 things that people don't know about
But
me.
there are some
Can you just think 3 things that people don't know about you?
Yeah, I do.
I got in 2nd place in the Bible contest in 11th grade in Jerusalem for seculars, and I led the whole way until the last question, and then I came in 2nd.
So this is a big no for me because you didn't mention it in our talk before. If I would know about that, I would have some kind of question ready for you to surprise you, like we did with Gil Benati, if you remember. He's a phenomenon. He knows everything about sport, and we had this sport question from him from the crowd. At Gil Benati from L.L.B. So we had some great questions for him. I didn't know.
You didn't know what?
That you had this,
Bible?
you know the Bible by heart, right? So yeah, this is one. Second one.
Only one?
No, we need 3.
Wow. Wow. So I won the Bible contest.
I can give you a hint.
Okay. I meditate. Oh, come on. This is good.
You can say
I'm
that.
very spiritual. I meditate every day.
Yeah,
And
he
the
does.
combination between spirituality and materialism is exactly in the...
But you actually take it very seriously.
Yoel, the commercial.
What? May Eden?
Yeah. You have to speak about it.
Actually, there was a very nice commercial with May Eden. They moved May Eden. It was some kind of from the desert to a place in Tel Aviv, and I was one of the models. My brother and I, actually.
Okay.
But you went, you were talking about something else?
Yeah, I was thinking about meditation. You went once or twice. You told me to India 2 weeks.
Meditation, let me put it this way. I think meditation is the best, one of the best and efficient tools for evolution, for self-evolution, more than anything that I encountered. So,
when was the last time you went to India?
Actually, I worked too hard, so I need to go to India for again. It was a year ago or so.
And for how long? How long?
For 2 weeks. It was. I went to 2 weeks of silence and meditating.
So isn't it interesting? 2 weeks of silent meditation. That's amazing. Before the last question, anyone wanna ask something? Yeah, I remember you, of course. You take the last one, but yeah, one before the last.
Hi, my name is David, and I want to ask you something. You said that sometimes a lot of time you refuse the people who want to be invested, and will you tell them why, or in my perspective, what should I take from the obstacles that you put if you tell me no.
What do you mean, what should you take?
I mean, if I'm going to an investor, let's say I'm going to you, and I want you to invest in me, and you don't think my idea is good, what should I take from your no? Your no is an obstacle in my way. What should I learn from you? Will you tell me, or will any angel tell me what is wrong with my idea? Why would you think it wouldn't be a good idea?
Yes, of course, of course.
Can you give an example, maybe?
Specific reasons, but you know, one good reason is just statistics. You know, just one, maybe 1 out of 10,000 ideas, then something comes out of it.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to kill dreams, like I said before. It's almost impossible to kill dreams. For instance, with the To Be community, there's no person in the world that will persuade me that it's not a good idea. So, does this answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
partially, but what should I take as the entrepreneur from the obstacle, from the no?
I think you need to understand that it's a very, very long journey. It's like a roller coaster, very difficult, with a lot of obstacles. And you need to be really strong, and you need to be really persistent, and you need to be a special characteristics in order to have all these combined together and in order to succeed. And this is something that is, I see, it's not that I'm trying to let people do other things. I truly believe, I see how people are passionate for ideas that have not any chance whatsoever to succeed. And then you hear their dream and their passion and what they want to do, and sometimes it's very hard, but a dream is a dream. You know, sometimes it's important also not to kill a dream. It gives a hope, or maybe with this dream, it will lead him to do something else which is close to what he does. So even if you kill some kind of a dream, you can do a pivot. Okay, so actually I think that we talked about it, that at least 90% of our startups did a pivot throughout their journey, their fascinating journey. So
What do you mean by pivot?
changing the business model, changing the idea, moving to different markets, things like that.
It's something that I should take, in mind. As a
course.
good manager, as a good entrepreneur, I should know that sometimes I should change.
Of course, of course, of course. Like I said before, God grant me with the ability to change the things I can, and to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this wisdom is the key point for succession. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, Avi, last question from Avi Weiss, Telecom News. Go on, Avi.
Do you have dreams that you are not going to succeed to manage or to take out?
That I'm not going to succeed with them, with my dreams. I think every day I come up with, every week I have like 10 dreams, and then I phone Arale and Shachar and they kill 9 of them. Yeah. But I think in order to succeed, you need a good combination between a good vision and a good team to implement this vision. And this combination together, the thinking and the doing that we spoke about before. When you think about the word chai in Hebrew, which is chet, chai, which means choshev, you first choshev, you think, and then you implement, yisum, okay? The vision on one hand, and the implementation of the vision on the other hand, that's what makes a good startup or a good percentage to succeed.
Last question is always the Peter Pan question. Peter Pan question is, what would you do when you grow up?
I don't like this question, because if I think too much of what I will do in the future, then I'm not anchored enough in the present. Because once you're anchored enough in the present, you don't ask yourself this kind of question, something is wrong. So I'm trying to think about what I will do in the future.
When we speak about the Peter Pan question, is more about like, you know, when I get older, I would like to see things going like.
I think my answer was quite creative, Ram. And also, it's a very interesting question, and I mean what I'm saying. I used to think a lot what I would do You know, I say to myself, I will become a doctor, I will be a philosophy teacher, I will do this and I will do that. And like I said, if you told me 6 years ago that what I'm doing now is what I will do, I laugh at your face. So, you know, and you know the saying of John Lennon, life is what happens to us when we plan some other things. So planning is not important. I mean,
In 10 years from now, would we see Yoel Cheshin in the parliament, Israeli parliament?
no possible chance for me to be in parliament. No chance.
We write it down. Okay, thank you very much. Yoel.